Working for the Chronicle today.
Nice to meet you, Jim.
First off, just some overall thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, we never make it easy. We never make it easy all year. It's been like this, so it's a little crazy, but at the end of the day, we keep pulling it out in the end. So I'm not complaining.
What were your thoughts when they got the big defensive stop
In overtime?
Fumble? Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, it's in the overtime scenario, it's pretty difficult to not win after that. That's a huge play. Force a turnover, you're already on the 20, you got the wind at your back. John's a very, very reliable kicker. So I knew after that we had a really good chance to win. I just hoped we would get as close as possible. And we ended up scoring, obviously. So it took a lot of stress off of everybody. So that was good.
How's it feel to go from, I guess, the saying of worst to first?
Worst to first. See, I like how you worded that because we're getting T-shirts. We're gonna make T-shirts. Worst to first. No, it feels good. Not only were we worst in our division conference last year, we were also predicted by most people to go last this year. So for us to come out and win the MAC West, I think it sends a message across the MAC that what Coach Hammock's doing here, and we're buying the dip, as he says, it's real. We're buying the dip, Coach.
Buy the dip.
Yeah.
Okay, questions from folks on the Zoom here.
Thank you.
All right, anybody with questions, let me know. Go ahead, Brandon.
Rocky, take us through, once you guys get the ball back after the DeMond Taylor fumble. Obviously, with the kicking game in question, you guys probably wanted to find 7 there. What was the mindset going into the huddle before the walk-off?
Yeah, well, I don't think the kicking game was in question, really. John had a 37-yarder, I believe, and it was a really stiff wind. If you were there today, you'd understand. But, I mean, it was that 37-yarder played like a 55-yarder. I mean, it was crazy. So we definitely had trust in him, and we knew that he would make the kick if we needed him to. But, our mindset was to get as close to the goal line as possible.
And then for you with the wind, you talked about how it was a big, factor for today. How did that affect your passing?
Yeah, I mean, I cut through the wind pretty good, especially in the first half, and then, the second half went how it went. To be honest with you, I don't really remember much about it, but we pounded the rock a lot in the second half, especially. The offensive line did a great job. Clint did a great job. We had a lot of back step up today, so run game carried the offense.
Thanks, Rock.
Yep.
Congrats.
James,
Thank you.
James, go ahead.
Rocky, just talk about the reaction on the sideline to the Taylor fumble recovery, and what was the offense thinking going into that last drive?
Yeah, it was awesome. We saw the ball on the ground, and it seemed like it took about a year for somebody to finally jump on it. But we were like, get on it, and finally DeMond jumped on it, and we knew right then that all we had to do was control the ball, keep possession, and just get as close as we can to put our kicker in a good spot. And thankfully Clint broke the run and scored a touchdown, so we didn't have to worry about that.
All right, thanks, Rocky. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for Rocky? All right, real quick, Eddie, go ahead.
Hey, Rocky, congratulations. You touched on the running game there. They really seem to be keying on Ducker a lot, keeping him in check. How big was it for you to get the runs you did, Clint and Tario, to have the games you guys had after they were obviously trying to stop Ducker?
Yeah, I think that's a big deal, to be able to have multiple weapons. Obviously, we have a ton of weapons on offense, but to be able to run the ball with different guys and do different things with different people it keeps the defense on their toes. So like you said, they were keying on Ducker pretty good. I thought they had a good game plan, and they were playing very hard. So for us to be able to do some of that Q run stuff and some of that misdirection with Clint, and then still mix in Ducker, and and AB had a couple carries today. So it was a total effort out of the run game.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we'll let Rocky go, and we're going to bring in Clint Rakovich.
Bulldogs.
All right, go ahead. We'll go to questions here from
Yeah,
John.
let's talk about that last run. What did you see?
Yeah. So, we just ran power. The offensive line did a great job. I think it was Liam had a nice block out there on the edge, and it just opened up for us. That last drive we ran a lot of just downhill football, ran the ball at them, and the offensive line, tight ends, everyone, receivers did a great job.
Were you surprised that the right side was that wide open on the last play?
I wasn't. Our offensive line, even before that drive, like I was saying, they were doing an amazing job. They're stacking up the box, and we're still doing a great job. Getting hats on hats. So it's just credit to them.
A lot of momentum swings in this game. I mean, they're up early, then you get the 3 straight touchdowns, and they come back. You get the 3 field goals at the end. I mean, obviously, it was a hard-fought and well-earned victory.
Yeah, that's the hard way. We just every week in, week out, it seems like we just always have a close game. And we've been reluctant or lucky kind of come through and win these close games. It'd be nice to kind of separate a little bit, but that's just who we've been this year, and it's just how we've been keeping able to win each week.
Well, do you think that maybe it's not luck?
No, yeah, it's definitely a lot of the work we put in, just day in, day out at practice. I mean, we've had some of the most physical practices near the end of the season than, that we had all year. So it's just a credit to, our offense and defense doing a great job, and our show teams, they give us a great look day in, day out, and it's just awesome all around.
What's it mean to you to clinch the MAC West after last season, and then predictions for this year?
Oh, it's amazing. There's a lot of people out there doubting us, which is awesome. You know what I mean? I feel like it was just the people in our room that, believed this year, and, we're showing the world what we're about. It's just a testament to the coaches and the work that we put in. Coach Hammock's done a great job. All the position coaches just push us every day to be better, and it's showing up.
Okay, questions from our folks on the Zoom? Go ahead, Eddie.
Hey, Clint, congratulations.
Thank you.
They really seem to be keying on Jay today, and kept him in check. How big was it not just you to have the game you had, but Rocky had a couple big runs. Obviously, Ontario came in with the big run. How big was that with them keying in on Jay for the other guys to step up?
Yeah, it was huge. They had, like Rocky was saying earlier, they had a really good game plan. Props to them. They have a really good defense, and they played well today. And, it was awesome for us to try to find different ways to, run the football, and it worked for us today.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Brandon, I think I saw your name up there. Go ahead.
Hey, Clint, congratulations.
Thanks, Brandon.
So end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, like they said, the momentum shifted. But once the game was tied and you guys got the ball back, it was all power run for the rest of the game, even in overtime. What do you think changed as far as being able to move the sticks every single time down the field?
Yeah, just belief. We've been in these situations before. It's something we're comfortable with. We've been at tie games or even down really late in the game. So, we've been in the situation, and we just know how to keep ourselves composed and go out there and just get the job done.
And then on the last run, did you know you were gone the second you got your hands on the ball, or was it like you just had to make a couple quick moves and you were out of there?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I believe it was our left guard, as soon as he kicked out the one guy, there was no one there. So I knew it was over with as soon as I got through that first line of defenders.
Thanks, Clint. Congratulations.
Yep. Thanks, Brandon.
Anything else for Clint? All right. Thank you, Clint.
Go Dogs.
Appreciate it. We're going to bring in Lance DeVoe now. All right. John, questions here for Lance.
They were playing without their starting quarterback. Their backup guy did a pretty good job. Were you surprised they came back?
I wouldn't say surprised. They're a good football team. We were playing good. That they were fighting back. So I wasn't surprised at all. I expect them to give us their best game, and that's what they did.
Obviously, it was the run was the game winner, but the game turned on that defensive stop. I mean, it's a fumble, but overall, it's a defensive stop, and you guys had to have it right there. How big is that?
I mean, huge. Before we ran out there, I was talking to the defense, telling those guys, we got to nut up. We got to do whatever we got to do to keep these guys out the end zone. And fortunately, we was able to get that turnover and, you know, get the ball over to the offense and, you know, they was able to finish out the game.
Anything else, John? Okay. Questions? Go ahead, Brandon.
Lance, congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
All things considered, your entire career here at NIU, you already have a MAC championship, but is this one a little bit more special considering, you know, the way things went last season? And like Clint said a little bit earlier, everyone, you know, whether it was the media or the polls or whatever, they were counting you guys out. Does this one mean a little bit more to you?
Oh yeah, I mean the first one, you know, that's always fun, but you know, this one, it definitely means a lot. You know, I was telling Coach Hammock earlier, you know, this is why I came back. You know, especially after last year, you know, we had a young team, you know, and we were 0-6. You know, coming into this year, you know, nobody believed in us, you know, but we believed in ourselves, and you know, that's the drive that's been keeping us going this whole season.
And then from a defensive standpoint, you guys got a lot of key stops on third down, a lot of big tackles for loss, and then obviously the fumble in overtime. What was working for you guys defensively to where you guys were getting all those stops?
We were just playing assignment football. You know, a lot of those plays that they ran against us, we repped it in practice. And, you know, like I say, practice like you play in the game. You know, guys are playing assignment football, and, you know, we was able to go out there and execute.
Thanks, Lance.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Lance? Sorry, I might have missed a hand. I was walked away for a minute. Go ahead, James.
Lance, you guys had a lot of tackles for loss and got a ton of pressure to the quarterback. I don't remember if you guys got sacked, but you did get him, you know, scrambling out of the pocket quite a few times tonight. How well is this front seven just clicking for you guys right now, heading into probably the most important part of the year for you guys now?
Oh man, them guys playing lights out. You know, I love my guys up front. You know, they make it easier for me to play off of them. You know, but like I said, it starts in practice. You know, those guys play hard in practice, and you know, it carries over to the game. You know, that's exactly what we've seen tonight.
And then one more question, just for people who haven't followed this team all the way through the year and throughout this offseason, that'll ask, how does a team go from, you know, 0-6 last year to, you know, conference championship bound? What would you point to as sort of, not the secret, I guess I would say, but the biggest factor for you guys growing to this point?
Coach always talks about it. You got a body dip. And, you know, I feel like that's what guys did. And, you know, going off of that season last year, you know, we knew we had work to do. And that's exactly what guys did. You know, the summer camp, you know, guys been working, been grinding, and, you know, now it's showing on the field.
All right. Thank you, Lance.
Thank you.
Anything else for Lance? Oh, go ahead, John.
You know, wind was a factor, obviously, in the kicking game. Watching a 55-yard kick sail through, I mean, field goal's almost impossible to defend, but what's it like when you see something like that? You work that hard, and all of a sudden 55 yards.
Well, you know, John does a good job. You know, he's won a lot of games for us this year, and you know, it was tough. You know, it was a lot of wind today, and you know, we knew that was going to be, you know, tough to kick against, and you know, it just so happened that, you know, the wind didn't work out, you know, in our favor. But you know, we have all the faith in John, you know, and even though we missed the kick, we were ready for OT. You know, we had no doubt that we couldn't pull it out.
All right, we'll let Lance go and get Coach Hammock in here. Thanks, Lance. Appreciate it. Yep, you can go out the side or. All right.
Oh, I'm not.
You were sending.
Okay.
All right. Coach Hammock is here. Coach, why don't you start us off with a statement about today's game?
You know, obviously a great win. Our kids battled for 4 quarters and in overtime, but we expected this. We expected to win, and they went out there and got it done. I couldn't be more proud of them. I couldn't be more proud of our coaching staff, you know, for staying committed to the process of building this thing back the right way. And that's what we've done. We have the second youngest roster in college football, and we found a way to win the MAC West Championship. And we got some more games and some more meaningful games that we're going to continue to play for. And we can keep growing and getting better and moving our program forward.
All right, quick, John, go ahead, questions.
Obviously, the stop in overtime, forcing the fumble, how huge was that?
Big. It seemed like the ball was on the ground for about 25 seconds. You know, and for, you know, we were very fortunate to get on top of it. Obviously, on third down, if they would have got on top of it, it would have been a touchdown. So, you know, how about our D lineman being alert? I believe Jeff Griffin fell on it, and then obviously to come back out with our offense and score on the first play. That shows the type of team we are, the type of resilience we have, and the type of program that we're building.
When you talk about resilience, you scored the 3 straight touchdowns, you get ahead, and yet they come back, and it forces you guys to play right until the end. Is that what you say you built this program, and building it back the right way, that kind of effort, that kind of refusal to quit?
Yeah, we're not going to quit. You know, Coach Novak used to always say something: the harder you train, the harder it is to surrender. And we put that theory to the test in off season, and we put that theory to the test in training camp. And all these kids have done everything we've asked them to do to get themselves in the right frame of mind to go out there and compete. And then it takes faith, right? You know, I think this offseason we talked about we are the best team in the MAC until proven otherwise. And I wanted that mentality for the young men in our program so they don't have to think about, hey, we're trying to get over the hump. We don't need to get over the hump. We played all these teams last year, and we played them in one possession ball games most of the time. And all we had to do was believe in the process, stay committed to the process. And that's what they've done all season.
Thank you.
All right, questions from our Zoom. Go ahead, Eddie.
Hey, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just what is the dip and why did you guys have to buy it?
Well, the dip, you know, when I took over the program in 2019, right, they was coming off a championship team, but it wasn't a championship program, in my opinion, because I don't think there was a mentality of doing all the things right that it takes to be a college football player. And I mean that sincerely because I played here. There is a standard and an expectation for guys that played in this program of how you're supposed to act on and off the field. And we held them to that standard, and we held them to that level of accountability. It can't be if you're winning games, then you can miss class, or if you're winning games, certain things can slide. We want to do all the things right in everything that we do. And so when I said buy the dip, we were losing some seniors. We was a senior-laden team in 2019. We signed a good recruiting class in 2020. We were going to have to play a lot of those players. And I said, buy the dip, because I know the type of evaluation we do as a staff. I know the type of recruiting we do as a staff. And I knew the type of players we were bringing in the program. And if you stay committed and buy the dip, because it was going to be a rough season playing a lot of young players, then eventually we will get to this point. And obviously we've gotten there a lot quicker than most people probably expected, but it's not quicker than what I expected.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, go ahead, James, I believe.
Thank you. Coach, how much was the wind a factor in your play calling, not just in obviously how you decided to go for your field goals or how you tried to set up your field goals, but in terms of the aggression you had? Because it felt like when you guys had the field position battle won was when you guys were forcing them to kick into the wind in that third quarter.
The wind was a big factor in the game. Going into the win, we had to get down to the 15-yard line before we felt comfortable enough to kick a field goal in a normal situation. Obviously, at the end of a game situation, you got to kick it from where it's at. But we had to take advantage. You know, I talked to my coaching staff at halftime. I said I would be very, very curious of what they decide to do. We was getting the ball in the second half. What would they decide to do with the win? And obviously, they gave us the win in the third quarter, which I thought was interesting because we was getting the ball and we were able to score 14 points in the third quarter with an opportunity to score more. So we could have really separated ourselves in the third quarter, but we turned it over and then they scored a touchdown on the very next play, which kept them in the game. But I thought we had a chance to go up 17 or possibly 21 points. But you know, we were dealing with some injuries. Cole Tucker went down for a little bit, but I really thought we gave ourselves a chance to win the game in the third quarter by scoring 14 points.
You talked about it in the post-game interview with ESPN, how you think, Clint Rakovich is a pro and he deserves all these accolades he's getting. We haven't gotten to see him really in the spot he was in, where he was sort of the lead back near the end. What do you think of his performance, putting you guys in a position?
I think a lot of times, you don't realize how much he's playing. He's playing probably 40 snaps a game on offense. Just because he's not touching the ball doesn't mean he's not impacting what we're doing on offense. And so obviously at the end of the game, he had a chance to show what he can do as a ball carrier. But he's a key part to our offense, and we try to utilize him as much as possible because of the versatility that he brings to our offense.
Lastly, just what does it mean to you going from, 0-6 last year, putting in all this hard work over the offseason, now you guys are going to Detroit?
I mean, I'm proud and happy for the kids, right? They are the ones that put the work in. I'm proud and happy for my staff. As the head coach, I can handle all the, negativity. It doesn't bother me. But I'm proud for our kids. I'm proud for the coaching staff, for all their hard work that they put into the program to get to this point. And I couldn't be more proud of them.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Now that you've had the opportunity to lock up the MAC West, what would you like to see from your team? You have, I believe, like 3 or 4 more games with the bowl game and the conference championship left. What would you like to see down the stretch?
We're going to try to be 1-0 every week. That's the goal. That's the mentality. I think our kids understand that. We got a short turnaround with Western Michigan. Obviously the MAC didn't think we was going to be very good this year, so they gave us a rough schedule. But we got a short turnaround week with Western, but we're going to be prepared. We're going to put everything into that game, knowing that this is a great opportunity. Every team that beat us last year, we have a chance to change the outcome this year, and that's certainly a big thing for our kids.
And then for you, you start the season last year with Buffalo. Does this have that kind of like bookend finish to the regular season where, last season started everything bad with Buffalo, and then this season you end with Buffalo with a win in a MAC West title?
We actually end with Western Michigan next week, so it's not quite the end of the season. But certainly this feels good to clinch the MAC West from that perspective. But we got another big game next week that we're going to do everything possible to try to win.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, with that, I think we'll let Coach go. And go ahead, John.
Key contribution from Ontario Brown.
Yes.
He had not played a lot.
Yes.
The last 3 or 4 games.
Yep.
He had a lot of carries early.
Mhm.
How huge is that for, I suppose as a coach, you say, always be ready.
Well, I think the one thing about Ontario, he does some things. He specializes in some plays really, really well. He's very fast and very explosive. We have to be able to use him. He's practiced extremely hard the last 3 or 4 weeks against Bowling Green. He fumbled early in the game, and that kind of hurt his chances. I mean, we playing in 1 possession ball games all the time. Every possession is critical, and I think he's made it a premium to protect the ball in practice. And obviously, he showed his explosiveness of what he can do in the game, and hopefully, we can continue to do that over the next 3 or 4 games.
And the last question is Rudolph's 75-yard run, which snatched the momentum right back.
Yes.
That was a pretty good call.
Obviously we had certain calls we wanted to call going into the win. So we saved certain things for going into the win, things that we thought could get to the perimeter, get to the edge. They scored the touchdown, went up 10-3, and then we was able to score a touchdown right back into the win, was big. And I think that took some of the momentum away. They got the ball first, so then we was able to play a normal game again. And I think it was a big play. And obviously the linebacker did a great job chasing. He had a great angle, and I thought Trayvon finished the play the right way.
Last one is, there's nothing you can do about it. The wind is blowing, and it makes a 55-yard field goal.
Yeah, he smoked it.
I mean, the coaches, you're just standing there like.
Yeah, the way they played that drive, it seemed like they were playing for a tie. They running the ball. I was like, listen, these guys are just playing for a tie. Then they got it to the 36-yard line. I said, I bet they run it again. And we was able to get the tackle for loss. And, for a college kid to make that kick in that type of situation, good for them, good for them.